Welcome back to Data Cloud Now's live coverage of Snowflake Summit in San Francisco, the world's largest data and AI conference. I'm now joined by Tristan Handy, founder and CEO of DBT Labs. Tristan, welcome back to Data Cloud Now.
Thank you so much.
Tristan, I have to say, the numbers speak for themselves. DBT Labs is impacting over 40,000 companies with 4,300 customers and 100,000 community members. From your vantage point as founder and CEO, what's driving the adoption?
It's such a hard question. At the very beginning of this journey, which started about 8 years ago now, we built a tool for ourselves. I started a consulting company. I needed a tool to do transformation in cloud data warehouses, and I had some strong opinions about how I thought that tool should work. And I didn't really know if anyone else would use the product. Over the years, at first a little group of early adopters has joined, and they found it useful. They found that they were able to apply software engineering best practices to the work that they were doing in data. Eventually, they found that they became so effective that they got raises and promotions. And when you create that kind of impact on people's careers, it turns out that they tell their friends. And so DBT is really a story of 8 years of consistent organic growth of people telling people that this product and this workflow has worked for them.
Great to have your founder's perspective on it. What has caused DBT to become such a central part of the data and AI ecosystem?
I think that it is the opinionated workflow. It is the idea that there is a correct way to use these new tools that are available to all of us. So, pre-cloud, there was kind of it was a free-for-all. You could kind of do data in whatever way made sense for you. In the cloud world, there are so many of the points of friction have been removed that if you don't start instilling some sense of order to the chaos, you will find that you create a pretty big problem for yourselves. And so DBT provides these guardrails where not only do you have this small team of power users, typically this is like the centralized data engineering team, but with these guardrails, they can open up the platform and get data analysts and even business users involved in the same mature workflow.
Great to hear, Tristan, which brings us to present day. The AI data cloud ecosystem is all around us. Tristan, from your perspective, how do you see the AI landscape evolving over the coming year, and what role will DBT play in enabling AI workloads?
So I think that I was in a meeting with Snowflake leadership yesterday, and somebody asked Sridhar, is this hype real? Is it just gonna blow over? And I think Sridhar gave the only correct answer, which is to say that it's both real and it's hype. And the real part is there are use cases being deployed today that are generating a tremendous amount of value. And the hype is that it's going to take all of our jobs. Like that's not really what's going to happen. It turns out that DBT is in an incredibly good position to benefit from AI because one of our foundational principles is that all of this work should be done like software engineering. All of DBT is done in code. And it turns out that large language models are incredibly good at writing code. And there's enough, you mentioned the numbers before, there's enough DBT code on the internet that you can just go to any large language model and say, write me DBT code to do X. And it knows how to do that. And so we have had actually like a very straightforward time of releasing features inside of the product that significantly decrease the amount of time taken to do standard things that you need to do inside of the product. It's really impacting our users, and it's already doing that today.
Great to hear, Tristan. I want to bring it back to DBT Labs in a recent launch that you had, your DBT Labs launch showcase. What were the key takeaways?
Oh my gosh. So it was much like Snowflake Summit. There were too many announcements for me to try to go through all of them here. But I will say that there's one in particular that I have been excited about for a long time now. I was talking before about how we are code first. Well, we are also about accessibility. We tremendously care about this single platform being used by everybody from data engineers all the way to business users. And historically, SQL had been a great way for data engineers and data analysts to collaborate together, but business users often need something that has an even better learning curve, and that often looks like a visual experience. So for the first time, we announced a low-code dbt editing experience, and the critical thing there is that from my knowledge, it is the first low-code editing experience that allows you to build data pipelines, but do it using all the same governance best practices that we have allowed users to do for 8 years. So to me, that is the secret sauce. It is accessibility plus governance.
Great to hear, Tristan. Want to bring it back to this week. I saw that you recently announced your Snowflake native app in an integration with Cortex. Why is this important for joint dbt and Snowflake customers?
Yeah, so some real-time feedback. I was just talking to one of our leaders before he came on here. In the past, gosh, it's been 24 hours since that launch announcement. We have already gotten a tremendous amount of inbound interest there. So thanks for inviting us to be a part of the launch. From our perspective, there's two big things. One is that it brings us closer with one of our biggest partners, you folks, and allows us to improve our joint go-to-market. We can really show up now and say, like, these two products work together incredibly well. They're super easy to adopt together, and it reduces the red tape involved in getting that up and running. The other part is that actually these two products have always worked well together, and now with Cortex, we're able to add another layer here to the mix, the AI layer. And this is a story that, I mean, I've been working in data now for 20 plus years. People have wanted a natural language interface to their data forever, for as long as I've been working in data. And for the first time, I think that there's a real path there. Cortex helps us build an experience that measures up. And the other critical part of that is the dbt semantic layer. So from my perspective, I think it is the only chatbot experience that cannot hallucinate, because all of the answers that you ask it, the responses are governed by the dbt semantic layer.
Great to hear, Tristan. I want to dive back into very much your mission and your vision. At dbt, your mission is to empower data practitioners to create and disseminate organizational knowledge. From a leadership standpoint, how important is having a proper data foundation in this ever-increasing competitive environment we now find ourselves in?
It seems like we have been saying this forever. Data has always mattered. I think data mattered in the 90s, it mattered in the 2000s, but I think we're finally getting to a place where data is actually powering the operations of all businesses in the way that it didn't before. It is certainly very important that your executives have dashboards that every day they can look at and say, what's the health of my business? Cool, that powers decision making.
Top-down approach.
Right, but increasingly today, people are building data products that actually run the business. I mean, this is overplayed at this point, but the AI customer support narrative is very real. Now, we internally are not, we're not having AI directly respond to customers, but we are having AI provide suggested answers that our customer support reps can respond with if they think that they're correct. And we're already seeing the impact there. And if you say that, like, well, normally a support team is going to cost X, and now it costs half of X, well, if you're not doing that, the financial profile of your company is just going to be very different.
Right, constantly evolving, constantly changing. Tristan, always a pleasure sitting down with you. How can the audience learn more about what's next for DBT Labs?
GetDBT.com, and we'd love to have you as a part of the Slack community. If you hop on there, I'm at Tristan. I love DMs, so chat with me anytime.
Tristan, always a pleasure having you on Data Cloud Now.
Thanks so much.
And for the audience watching, I'm Ryan Green with Data Cloud Now. I'll see you soon.